I'm back. This is kind of part two of the deep dive explanation that I'm trying to do regarding Dr. Wolf's testimony. I think there was a lot, and I think he's very good at explaining it and kind of going step by step so it doesn't confuse people. But there were a number of things that I saw when he started doing the 24 mile per hour test and the 29 mile per hour test I think are worth talking about and doing a little bit deeper dive. So when they moved outside, they did first these little hanging arm experiments, right? Where the arm, just like exactly how Dr. Welcher said the arm would be shaped and where the exact impact points. And it showed like at 15, it really did no damage. And you can see this is 29 miles per hour just using the arm. You can start to see over here, there is taillight, but you see where the taillight busts out of. It's that bottom long part going across. Again, this corner panel is barely touched. And this is 29 miles per hour in the exact same arm position that Dr. Welcher said would cause the taillight to crack and cause those scratches, right? Remember those, oh, look, asymmetrical, perfect in line, like 4 down here and 4 here, that it would just cause those perfect scratches across the arm. No, it can't cause any scratches because once it makes contact, the arm is flung so hard that the pieces don't even come in contact with the arm. It's a bump and the arm flies out of the way and the pieces go the opposite direction. Even at 29 miles per hour, that entire corner section stayed intact. You see what's mostly destroyed is over there, the long end of the stretch going across. Even the diffuser still intact. It's this red part that's all the casing, all the outer casing still intact, as compared to what Proctor claims. Karen hit John's arm going, they say 24 miles per hour, and the entire thing is blown apart.
The upper end, there is a triggering event of, I believe it's 1162.2, and I think at the end of that data, the speed is approximately 24 miles per hour. So we did a test at the end point, if you will, in that data set.
Now this is the test I want to talk about. So this is the test where they added the body. I said earlier this is Reconstruction Randy. He's actually Rescue Randy. I misnamed him. I apologize, Randy. He's Rescue Randy. He is a 200 and nearly 20 pound crash test dummy. And they attached the arm that they'd been working with to Randy. So, and basically, by the way, set him up exactly how Dr. Welcher said. Now remember, this has to be just an arm clip, and Welcher made sure to say that nothing down here came in contact with John. It's just an arm hit. And this is what caused the scratches. Now, I don't know how they explained the scratches that were up on this outer part of John's arm, but they said this caused the scratches. But this is why there was no bodily damage to John, is because it was just this part that hit and not anything down here. So this is actually perfectly positioned for Wolf's test. Now there's video I'm going to show you in a minute, but this was all taken in slow-mo. These are stills, right? So you see the car run into Randy right here. Then you see the velocity with which Randy's arm is thrown and he starts to swing away, and you see pieces start to come off. And then you see right here, yep, there are pieces shattering. But wait a minute. Okay, so for starters, this is a still shot of just like right after point of contact. And what happens is the car hits him and the car keeps going, right? Because the car doesn't automatically stop. In order for the scratches to get on the arm, I feel like you got to break the taillight, and then you got to somehow like have it run across you like this, right? So it scratches you as it goes. But what we see is the minute it makes contact, the arm flies out of the picture and the taillight pieces fall downward.
A perspective from the high-speed camera, so a slow motion video with the Lexus reversing into the ATD arm at 24 miles per hour.
If we look at this, just imagine this is in front of 34 Fairview for a second, right? So here is where Randy is hit. Let's pretend this is John. He's just been hit. Let's say the flagpole is maybe like over here where this green thing is. So he would have flung from the curb back over here onto the lawn and been found in front of the flagpole. Okay. Now, we're to believe that all of the taillight pieces were out here in the road right near where he was hit, and then further down the road this way. Nobody made any mention of finding taillight over here. But what is all of this? This is taillight. Because when the car came back and the light shattered, the taillights moved with the car, like the velocity of it carried them all the way back here. If you looked at the distance between where that dummy is standing and where this car comes to stop and where these taillight pieces are, these taillight pieces would have ended up, if this were 34 Fairview, much closer to the mailbox. And by the way, this SUV would have slammed smack dab into Higgins' Jeep, which was sitting at the end of the driveway. Maybe this image will help. So this is from Google Earth. This is 34 Fairview. So if we're to believe this black line is right about the point where, say, John got hit, right? Like kind of so just past the flagpole, almost perpendicular to the front door, and then he ends up over here in front of the flagpole, okay? But Canton PD, but both Canton PD and the CERT team in all of their reports said they found taillight all up and down and over here. In fact, there are photos of the taillight that Canton PD found right next to this fire hydrant. How the hell did they get up there when the velocity would have pulled the pieces, like we just saw in that last photo, back here? This is where the vehicle would have come to a stop, if it stopped at all before it hit Higgins' Jeep, which was parked right here. This is where Higgins' Jeep would have been parked that night. Now here's another thing I find very interesting. So I put these two things side by side. And what I tried to do is try to make the images close to the same distance from above, right? This is a Google Earth image of 34 Fairview. I tried to kind of make this car about the same size as these cars, right? So it was kind of basically the same distance. For starters, 34 Fairview is a curve. It's not a straight road. It is a curve. And they say Karen came all the way down here, then gunned it in reverse, got up to 24 miles per hour, hit John about right here, and then, I mean, just magically stopped. And then she drove away. There's no taillight or anything over here that shows she would have backed up, and this would have been where Higgins' Jeep was parked. So she would have done all of that completely drunk, going in reverse on a curve, and managed to stay out of the yard. That's improbable enough. But let's talk about down here. What I learned from Dr. Wolf's presentation is this is the aerial camera that they showed. This is drone footage. You see this is their SUV, and it races backwards, and this is where their dummy, Randy, is standing. Look at the distance between the two. And again, I tried to make these kind of like compatible sizes. This is an exact straight strip right here. This is a curve. And then if you look at the distance, right? This is just the 15-mile-an-hour one. They managed to get up to 24 and 29 miles per hour, but look at the distance it took to do it. And Karen really just had from here to about here. It's impossible. It's impossible to go that fast backwards with that much control on this curve of a road. Yes, a car can just hit your arm, but in the meantime, that car would also probably destroy your arm, not just scratch it.